In the quiet land of Bethlehem, a young boy named David tended his father's sheep, faithful in the fields, far from the eyes of men. With gentle hands, he played his harp, filling the hills with melodies of peace and devotion to God. But when danger came, David rose with courage, striking down a lion to protect the flock. At home, his brothers stood as the prophet Samuel arrived, unaware that heaven had already chosen. Samuel entered Jesse's house. One by one, the sons passed before him, but God chose none of them. Then David was called from the fields, and before all, Samuel anointed him with oil, declaring him the future king of Israel.
He is greatly in distress.
Why does he not speak?
The smoke rises ever higher.
The burden is too great! I cannot bear
Meanwhile,
it!
King Saul was troubled by a tormenting spirit, his heart restless and disturbed. A young David was brought into the palace, carrying only his harp. As David played, peace returned. The king's torment faded, and calm filled the room. At the Israelite camp, soldiers prepared for war, tension filling the air. David arrived with food for his brothers, but they dismissed him, seeing only a shepherd
Fresh
boy.
bread for the watch, sirs. Well met. Our thanks.
In the valley of Elah, two armies stood facing each other, waiting. Then came Goliath, towering, fearless, and defiant. And David stepped forward, underestimated but filled with faith.
The giant mocked him, laughing at the boy before him. With only a sling and a stone, David stood firm. He released it, and the stone struck Goliath's head. The giant collapsed with a thunderous fall. David stood alone as victory erupted. Israel surged forward, defeating the Philistines.
Back home, the women sang, "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands." And Saul's heart burned with anger. In a moment of rage, Saul hurled a spear, but David escaped.
Jonathan, Saul's son, stood by David, giving him his sword in loyalty and love. David fled to the cave of Adullam, gathering those who were broken, yet destined.
Hunted by Saul, David ran through wilderness and shadows. Yet when the chance came to strike the king, David chose mercy. And Saul, seeing his heart, declared, "You are more righteous than I."
War rose again. Philistines clashed with Israel. Saul and Jonathan gathered up their army. Even though most of the soldiers had run away from King Saul, the remaining few went to the battle, fully armed but filled with fear. The prophecy still remained that Saul would die in that war after he became disobedient to God. King Saul, his son Jonathan, and the few Israelite soldiers fought bravely, but fell in battle. A lone messenger ran to David, carrying the news of their deaths.
At the age of 30, David was crowned king. Israel rejoiced, drums sounded, flags waved, and a nation celebrated its chosen leader. David ruled with faith, leading Israel through victories and trials. He sought God, walked in purpose, and established a lasting kingdom. From his lineage would come the promised Messiah, Jesus Christ, the fulfillment of God's eternal promise. From shepherd to king, David's life stands as a testament that those who remain faithful in the unseen are prepared by God for greatness.